Yo, what's up everyone? Would help if I would unmute. PinOut. Let's do it. Oh, wrong one. PinOut. Let's do it. I'm gonna turn on light on as well. Okay. Let's get started. Right. Should give a warning. There is a spider in this room, and if I run and scream or both at the same time, you know why. So yeah, I tried to get rid of it yesterday, or we tried to in the house for like half an hour and it wasn't going, so it's probably still in here. So if I see it at any point, I'm running. But the good thing is, this category isn't real anyway. Well, not on the leaderboard right now anyway, but I'm going to request it. Because I feel like it does make sense to be on the leaderboard. It's not arbitrary. And I feel like, well, it's definitely less arbitrary than having just the IL for level 1 and not the other ILs. At least in my opinion. So, I will request it later. But we're going to do Race to Overtime 2. I don't know why I opened Race to Overtime 1. We're not doing that. We're doing Race to Overtime 2 because I submitted that to GDQ as well, and I ought to do practice of that because I have not done a run of this in a while. Definitely did one before my run that I've submitted to GDQ because that's my recorded PB. Or my streamed PB, I should say, because that is the one I wanted, because then it's actually got commentary. And my commentary for the any percent run was way better, but oh well, it is fine. And it said that they prefer it to be your PB, so I just submitted my streamed PB because I felt like that would be better than submitting one that was achieved offline with no commentary or splits or anything, just the game. So we're going to see how this goes. I'm also going to be doing commentary basically throughout, at least for these short Friday streams. If I'm going to do a longer grind of this, then I will probably not be doing as much commentary because it's very tiring. But I am going to need the practice of doing commentary for up to 40 minutes. And that's the estimate I've put in for this category because I'm going to be going for a lot of safety, a lot of time dots. So whether we even get a PB, I don't know. I am still trying to get sub 25, but right now the priority really is just to get back in the swing of things and make it as close to 100% of runs completed as possible, and no resets where possible here, because that is what I need to get used to. So let's just get started. Also, if anyone's got any questions, please do fire them away because it will help me to practice commentary. And I have also submitted any percent, but I've done way more any percent recently, so I'm going to do this. I might even do a Race to Overtime 3 run today, who knows. Okay, this is PinOut. Oh wait, no. Need my Wii games. I always forget I need my stack of Wii games so I can actually, like, feel comfortable. So my neck doesn't hurt. Just 1 minute. Okay. Right, I'm back. And let's just shove them all there. Okay, lovely. Right, 3, 2, 1, go. So, this is PinOut. This is a... No. This is PinOut. This is a vertical scrolling pinball game. There you go. It would be nice to get the first one. Of course, I won't do that on the day. But, yeah, this is Race to Overtime 2. So the goal of this game is to get the highest score most of the time, because it is technically an endless runner. However, we are going to be doing things a little different. Of course, we're speedrunning. We want to be going fast as well. And I'm going to be collecting a lot of bonus time dots. Actually, I should really have done the other route. Let me do that. This is PinOut. This is a vertical scrolling pinball game. Now, the goal here is to, in this run at least, get 2 laps of the game done. So the first lap, we are able to collect time dots, which are filling up that in-game timer at the top. And although that's slow a lot of the time, sometimes it is on the fastest route, and that's good. But sometimes we'll be taking, such as here, we're taking a slightly slower route by a few seconds to grab all of these bonus time dots. And these time dots are going to mean we have enough time in the second lap to finish the game, because in the second lap of this game, you are not going to be able to get any additional time. It's all just going to drain for the rest of the game, and that's how the game sort of ends at a point, really. So, Race to Overtime is what the official category is called, and I'm just going to quickly focus here because this is a mini game for bonus time. The more points we get, the more bonus time we are going to rack up. Been a while since I've done this mini game. Very long time. Ah, 69. Well, that's nice anyway. Been a while since I got a 69 point as well. But yeah, really anything over 40 or 50 is very much a good score there. And sometimes you're just going to get a bit unlucky with the RNG of where the cars spawn. But basically, that is one of the mini games, or basically the game stops, so we don't actually do that in normal any percent. That's actually very nice. I do want power-ups in this run, so power-ups are going to pause the timer at the top. So it's not the worst thing to be getting that. But yeah, we're just pretty much trying to zoom through the game right now. Now, I want at least, really, for a no reset, I would say at least 600 seconds on the timer. So, I've still got, yeah, so literally just run out that time freeze, very nice. So, going to be playing quite conservatively in this run, and when I do my no reset for GDQ, I'm actually going to be getting every minigame, although it's not really optimal to play Commuter World. I am going to play it for the GDQ run if it gets in, because I just feel like that it sort of shows off the game more wholly, in my opinion, if I play all the mini games. If I play 3 out of the 4 and I miss out Commuter World, then it seems less of a whole speedrun, really. But Time Doubler is very good. Time Doubler does last for quite a while compared to most of the power-ups, and we're getting a little bit unlucky here, getting some quite slow cycles, unfortunately. Or some slow collisions, rather. Now, normally it would be beneficial to go on those tall ramps, those ramps that go on for a really long time, because it does skip some sections, and that is faster in normal any percent, because in any percent we don't really need to focus on the timer too much. But here we do. And we've got Laser Racer again, so we're going to be playing this for as many points as possible. Preferably 50 plus again. So there are 3 laser races in an entire run, so we do want an average of about 50 per game. But it doesn't matter if we don't get that. See, 36 there, but we're still on above 100 from the 2. So here, there is a way of skipping this power-up, but I'm not going to skip the power-up because it's very nice to be able to... well, it takes 7 seconds to grab a power-up, but that is in place of stopping the timer for so long, and you're going to see why that's a good thing in a moment, because we're going to make use of a little exploit of falling back to the previous area to get more bonus time. So, really nice, finishing off actually early there. So, although it was a bit of a slow ramp, we're going to fall back, and that was a very nice gold as well. But also, the thing with 0.100 is it takes a really long time to fall back. There's these barriers in the way. Now, we're falling back because I want to try and get the bonus time dots that are on the other checkpoint. That should not work. Yep. Oh, that's annoying. This just happens sometimes. We'll just make our way back up. That's fine. Now, I'm hoping I can get on the other one. There we go. So, although I did run out of my time freeze power-up, it was still good. And we did get both sets of time dots, which gives us 50 time dots instead of 25, so that's very good. It's not necessity in Race to Overtime 2. It is if you're going for a run like Race to Overtime 3. Sorry, I shouldn't have split again. That was a mistake. Oh, we're going to get push. Okay. So, this is a very nice power-up, and we make more use of it in any percent. But basically, this is going to let me control the ball wherever I want it to go. And this is the only lap we're actually going to see it. We might, well, we will be seeing it in a later level as we go through here. But push runs out very quickly. Push, the timer on push, the push power-up, it does pause when you're aiming. So if you're tapping left or right on the screen, it will actually pause while you're aiming, which is quite good if you want to keep the power up for longer, or if you want to use it, if you want to manage its use better. Here is quite a slow mini game. We're only going to get 10. That's a bit unfortunate, but that's fine. It's really slow of a mini game, really, and if you're playing more optimally and more safely, you would probably just cut Space Rocks out that mini game, because it is just really slow for the amount of time you gain from it. So I'm going to fall back down just to get the other power up, because I would like that, please. Okay, we are going through, I guess. You know what? We'll just go through, because sometimes the game just doesn't want to let you back, so we will just go. And this is the other secret minigame. This only appears once, Commuter World. So you only get a few seconds of bonus time, but I'm showing it off anyway, because why not? But basically, every lap of this straight line track you do, other ghost cars will appear. And I've really messed this up, but I do want that bonus time. Yeah, so I probably have screwed myself over here, but the good thing is, in a way, there is actually a good reason to not complete this minigame to the maximum. I don't know how I didn't get hit there. Now, I'm gonna... Yeah, so if I didn't die there, then I would have actually just picked up that 5 and then left, because I believe it's that lap. If you complete it on that lap, you get your bonus time, but you actually don't get the full score. You only get the amount of laps you've done. It actually ignores the bonus 5s that you've picked up. So, essentially, you get scammed. And we don't want to get scammed for our bonus time. So, you do actually stop slightly early. But we're going to fall back again. This one is a slightly quicker one to get, if it's going to let me. There you go. Barely caught the ball before it fell back again. Now, here is a really open area, and this can be... This is probably the most polarizingly different area compared to regular any percent. So right now you're seeing regular any percent because we're playing the game on its first lap. Lap 2 is the overtime section, as I've been talking about. But the other thing, not only do you not have any way of gaining bonus time in overtime, but also you cannot use power-ups because, of course, some power-ups help your timer, your in-game timer. But here we're able to get push, and it is a guaranteed power-up. This is the only time push is guaranteed in the entire run. So, getting a little bit unlucky here. Oh, wow, what is going on? Okay, some weird speed going on. You know what, we're just going to grab the minigame as well. This is Ascender. This is the other 4th minigame we haven't seen yet. This is fairly luck-based, of whether ships just get in your face and you just lose. That was just bad, actually, but 15's okay. I'm not going to be doing any of the skips here. There is a way of skipping this cannon and actually just going through the hole in the flippers there, but I'm not going to be doing that. Yeah, I am going to fall back here because not only are we going to get 25 time dots, we're also going to get, hopefully, some more that are in those flippers there. Oh, or in those bumpers, rather. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, as I was saying on that previous area, if you are doing the overtime laps, basically what overtime is, it's just the game wraps around, basically. So where we started in the first area, which is called Source, canonically, because of the soundtrack names, that's kind of just what has been dubbed each area's name. So number 1 is Source. So in Source, that is basically where you start in overtime, so that's how you know that the game's basically wrapped around again. And it will keep on wrapping around even once we complete the first lap of overtime, which is the second lap of our whole speed run. I am really not doing very well here at all, am I? And now we're going to fall back, so this is terrible. Oh, no, we're not. Oh, we're going to get stuck. Okay. Please let me out. Thank you. I've never dealt with that before. We're going to skip that minigame, actually, because I feel like I'm at that point now where I can. Actually, no. That was a laser racer, wasn't it? I'm going to fall back, because we kind of need that. Yeah, we should be able to get it here if the cycles line up. Yeah, there we go. So, I would like this bonus time, please. This is going to make it a lot safer of a run. Bit of bad RNG at the start there, but bad RNG at the start, way better than at the end. And for some reason, my input didn't go through. So, we're just going to crash out on 23, apparently. That's fine. Yeah, so, Granular Rainstorm on the overtime lap, not having push in an area that big and that wide is really, really difficult. And all the rest of the areas are pretty much the exact same. We're going to get slow motion here. So it's bad for a speed run, but what slow motion does is it slows down the timer, the in-game timer, so it's really slow. Our speed is faster than the in-game timer, but this is still not the best power-up to get. In fact, I would prefer literally anything else. Really could have taken Motion Link, but there are better ones that I could have gotten, so it was still worth going for it at that point. So I am going to fall back in this area because the other ramp there, not only is it worth the 25 normal checkpoint seconds, the time dots, you've also got an extra ramp there that gives you another 10. So you're going to get 35 just for falling back and grabbing those extra ones. So it is definitely worth grabbing those for the bonus time. Unless you take a really long time to grab them, it's always worth taking those. Especially if you only get the 25 on the first go. If you get the 35 and then have to fall back to get 25, then maybe it's worth considering not going back. Gonna fourth the map there, unfortunately. Yeah, really could have taken Time Doubler here as well. Time Doubler is much better than Motion Link. Not really sure why I didn't take that. In a run like this, I really should be taking Time Doubler. I've been doing too much any percent. Any percent you would never take Motion Link. Not really. Not if you're after time save. So I'm going to wait just for that red gate to get out of my way. So the red gate, basically, what it does is it now spawns in those red balls that you see. And I'm probably bashing it about quite a lot right now because the flippers actually do move while you're playing these mini games. So you could probably hear that red ball hitting the bumpers quite a lot back there in the background. Now that was gonna continue doing that until it sort of goes too far off the screen and then it just sort of falls back too far for you to worry about it. But here, really, the strat on this minigame, you just want to be firing loads of rocks early. I somehow missed a really easy hit there, which is a shame. But we go anyway, we zoom. Really, at the end here, I'm just going to collect as much extra time as the game wants to give me. I am going to fall back just to try and get this power up. Now, I believe this one gives you time freeze. Yeah, time freeze or slow motion. So we're going to take time freeze. Nice. Oh, that's annoying. Normally, that's just going to put you straight up in the flipper section. There we go. Okay, good. Sometimes I go for that power up and it takes me more than 10 flips to get out of the section again, so it actually ends up not worth going for, both RTA and IGT. Oh, that's, yeah, again, really awkward collision. So many awkward collisions in this run, actually. This has been super unlucky. And again. So sometimes you are going to get good collisions and sometimes you're just not. Sometimes that just happens. But the line markings in the floor do make it so that most things are consistent in this game. Of course, here, I'm not really demonstrating that very well. But, oh my goodness, and we're back again. Yeah, this is a really, really rough part of the run. But here as well, you always respawn on that same respawn point. So you really want to try and get through here as quick as possible. So we're going to take this path, because if we fall back and we're able to take that first set of flippers, or that first single flipper, we're only able to use the right ramp here. So by doing it this way, we're able to just quickly fall back, do it instantly, and just grab that other one there. Now, you can get really unlucky there and just get bumped by the red ball and just fall straight back again. That's even more unlucky than anything else that's happened this run. Luckily, we haven't got that. But right now, we're sitting on about 8 minutes of time, so I would like more than that, please. Gonna get push again. Okay, cool, that's fine. Push is gonna be running out quite a lot on this map, and we went off the level. That is really cool. So that is actually a trick used in any percent. We don't normally get it in this area because push is not guaranteed in this area, but it is used in 0.100, which is the orange area, and you pretty much fall off the map, and none of the obstacles off the floor actually have any collision. So you can just I skipped the minigame, that's annoying. we should be okay. We've got about 9 minutes of bonus time. So we're going to have to play out of our minds now to finish off this run. But yeah, that skip in any percent saves about 30 seconds. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Really depends on the execution. But the problem with that is it's also reliant on getting push in 0.100, which is a 20% chance from a random power-up. So it's really not guaranteed at all. But we are entering the second lap now, and this is essentially, as I've been describing, the exact same game again, but a really fast lap this time. We're just going to be skipping all the way through. No distractions, no mini-games, no power-ups. We are just speeding through here now. And this is probably not going to finish. It's not likely to finish, and if it does, then it would be a PB. So really, I need to grab a ton more time dots, and that's why I've set my estimate at 40 minutes, because I need to be super safe to make sure that this doesn't die here. Now, the good thing is you can start again from overtime, so if the worst did happen, and I was on an amount of time that I couldn't possibly finish with, so like 6 minutes or something ridiculous, that wouldn't even happen in a regular any percent run, then what I could do is I could actually quit the game and then start... Oh my goodness, what's going on here? I could actually quit the game. What? Okay, I could quit the game and I could start from the overtime checkpoint. So you can actually start from checkpoints in this game if you've paid for premium. Other than that, the game is free. But by paying for premium, you can start from overtime, but you can't actually start from any checkpoints in overtime because there are no checkpoints. You just play with the remaining time you have. But the good thing with my overtime checkpoint is I have about 1,000 seconds on there, so there's no chance of me not finishing with 1,000 seconds on the timer, really. And that is an embarrassing time save, but we take it. So I'm saving a lot of time compared to my PB, just from not really grabbing as many time dots as usual. It's not really from playing better, I would say, because I've actually got way less time than is ideal. But it's probably making a lot more sense now why I have a estimate of 40 minutes for this, because it is just that tough to finish. When you're working up against this timer, the game just feels a lot different in overtime. The game is not altered at all, apart from not having power-ups, which only really makes a difference, as I say, in Granular Rainstorm. Now, the thing I did just there, originally there was a power-up on that section, and interestingly, in overtime, the only way to reliably get through that section is to go through the gap in between the bridge part, because normally what happens is the power-up stops your ball, and it pretty much allows you to like the ball stops on the minigame orb, and then once the minigame orb, the power-up orb, and then once you've selected your power-up, the ball just falls, so it keeps no momentum, as we've been seeing, but it will basically fall onto the bumper, and it will just go forward. That's just an intended good part of the game's design, really. If you do end up falling backwards, though, it's really hard to get out of, and the only way to get out of it, really, is to do what I just did and go between the bridge, but that is really hard if you don't know the timing. It's actually way less forgiving than it looks, and I've had a lot of trouble there in when I was first starting out with this run. And when you first start out with a Race to Overtime 2 run, it is really hard just to finish. So really what I would recommend, anyone out there trying to give this a go or thinking about giving this a go, one, we're welcome to have you, because it will be amazing to see more runners of the game. But two, I would just say grab all the time dots you can. Grab every power-up, grab every mini-game, and just play super safely. And then once you've finished a run, then you can start to think, right, how many seconds did I have left over? I had 120 seconds. Okay, what mini game do I want to cut out of my route, really? And that's why I like Race to Overtime 2, because It just feels like a lot more of a whole speed run rather than race to overtime where you literally just race. This game feels a lot more like, or run feels a lot more like it's based on time management. Whereas any percent is only time management if you're starting out. So grabbing a lot of golds, and all these golds are real. Normally I play pretty badly in my overtime segment because I'm just playing under a lot of pressure. I'll be very happy to finish this run. I've never had any overtime segment be this good, really. What is it here? 10-18 for overtime? That's fairly bad, really. What I would say, I would personally be aiming for at least like sub 10 or sub 9, really. My any percent PB is a 734, so really, factoring in not having push in Granular Rainstorm, you could technically still get a sub 8. Although that would be incredibly hard. Getting a sub 8 lap 2 would be phenomenal. And I've never had anything like that before. Now, we do only have 2 areas left, so I feel like I could actually finish this. I mean, Telegraphic Distortion is actually a very long area, but you know what? I think it is possible, and I would love to get this PB. You know what? We could actually get sub 25 as well, which is technically my goal in this category. Thinking back to, like, the last few areas of lap 1, I was actually going to reset, thinking I didn't have enough time to finish, so I was just going to call it a day and give it another go, really, from the start, from the top. But apparently we are on for a run. Now, this wouldn't happen in the GDQ run because I'm going to play so safe that it will not be possible for me to PB. But that is absolutely fine because that is not what we will be there to show. We will be there to show the safety of the game. Yeah, line markings coming in very clearly helpful because it slows the ball a lot more, because if you took that collision from face value based on physics, you would just sort of rebound off of it and get a really silly collision and then just not be able to hit the ball, and it wouldn't be very fun. But here, this game has those line markings because it just makes the game a lot more fluid and a lot more fun. So we still have 80 seconds to finish off this area. Still enough time to finish. Now I'm just going to take every up cannon here because that is what I find to be the fastest way to get through. And I'm just going to wait here, just going to catch the ball. A rare instance of me catching the ball, really only just to deal with that cycle there of the gates. Falling back, unfortunately. From the right flipper, it's much easier to make this one. I'm going to take the upwards one because that's going to skip a set of flippers. Here, I'm going to go for the right side because that is actually a much quicker one than that loop. And we are just going to finish up here with... Oh, come on. No, we're just gone past sub 25. That's a shame. 25.02. Wow. Okay, that might even be a 25.01. But that is absurd. That is ridiculous. That was a no reset. So... really happy with that. That'll go up on YouTube. I actually have more YouTube stuff. And the good thing is it's actually a commentated race to overtime too. Thanks for GG's Brass. Hope you're doing well. So, yeah. To be honest, I would have liked to have been able to do that on Wednesday so that I could submit that to GDQ instead of the other run I submitted. But you know what? It's fine. Either way, I am really hopeful that this game can get into GDQ. There's a massive amount of submissions. There's like over 2,000 submissions for GDQ this year. So it will be difficult, and there will be a lot of more people not getting in than ever, really, because of that. So really just gotta take whatever happens. And yeah, I mean, it's my first time I'm submitting to a marathon in a really long time, so I'm just trying to work on my commentary as much as I can because that is what I want to be perfected really for this. But 8:34 overtime 2, I'm super happy with. That is going to be annoying to play against. I mean, my first lap was terrible. So, really, I just need to bank all the time from early on and then just play okay. But that's pretty much it for YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye. Okay, let's go from the top. Let's do another one. Okay, this is Race to Overtime 2 in PinOut. PinOut is technically a vertical scrolling pinball game. And differentiated from any other pinball video game really because of the line markings in the floor. The line markings slow the ball or when it's going at a fast speed, slows the ball to a much more manageable speed. And while that sounds bad that it's slowing the ball down, it is a speed run, I know. But in a pinball game, you do want to be able to get the same consistent hits, really, on everything you do. And by having that feature, it makes most things much more reliable than other games which might be really tight frame windows or even frame perfect timings. Here we don't have any of that. Well, some timings are relatively tight. There are not that many of those, and the game is fairly generous with the few number of collisions that you can get, or few number of routes that the ball can take after hitting a flipper. So here we're actually going to come across our first minigame. I am going to play the minigame, unlike in any percent where I would skip them, or I would pretty much just lose the game straight away. So this is the quickest minigame in PinOut, and oh, for goodness sake, I was moving my Wii games. My stack of Wii games come, like, unstable. So I needed to move them. Hey, Oru, how you doing? Good to see ya. We're doing commentated PinOut runs because I submitted it to GDQ. So I need to get good at my practice and get good at my commentary. Not my practice, but also get good at practice. Also, Splatoon speedrun tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that. I've still not learnt anything, so I'm just going to do the no major exploits run because I feel like that's way more fun than what any percent has descended to, which is about 20 frame perfect pauses, which is so fun. Yeah. Anyway, this is PinOut. This is a vertical scrolling pinball game. This is differentiated from other pinball games or video games because of the line markings in the floor. They slow the ball to a much more manageable speed if it's going fast. And even if it's not going that fast, like it even just happened there. So what we're trying to go for is we're not just trying to complete the game fast, we're trying to complete 2 laps of the game. And any percent would just be to complete 1 lap. The game loops after Area 8, which is Analog Apotheosis, the red one. And here I'm just going to focus a little bit just so I can get as much time bonus as possible. The more time bonus I get here, the less stressful the run is later on. If I get about 50 plus, I'll be happy. 45, that'll do. I didn't do very well there, actually. Just crashed straight into that car just as it was about to disappear. I think it even made the sound as if it was going to disappear. But that's fine. So 45 is definitely okay. We can definitely finish even if we didn't get much at all on any of those games. And we are going to see that minigame 3 times. But basically, we're trying to accumulate as much time as possible on the in-game timer because in lap 2, it's impossible to gain any extra time or slow the rate of losing time. That was actually quite generous of the game. Normally, if you fall from there, you're not going to be able to get back up. The ball actually hit the flipper there, so I was able to technically get back up, but I just missed it. Now here I'm just going to go for the power-up. It's not the intended route to get the power-up there, but it is much easier to do that because you then get the time bonus on your first way round and then also get the power-up on hitting that flipper rather than having to go around that loop twice. So Time Freeze is one of these power-ups where we're going to see less time, less in-game time being used up, which is very, very good. We want to be seeing more of that. And I'm hoping I can time this. Unfortunately not. Okay, good. At least we didn't fall back into the previous area. That can happen. Okay, so 0.100. This is, in any percent, one of the biggest reset points, or at least it used to be. I mean, if you do the out-of-bounds skip, it's not really as much of a reset point, unless you don't get the RNG you need. But basically, we want to get... come on. Oh my goodness. We want to get a 1 in 5 chance as the power-up, on the power-up coming up here. We want to get push. Oh my goodness, what are you doing? Okay, we're going the other way. Yeah, so we want to get a 1 in 5 here on this power-up. We want to get push. We don't need it in this run, but it would be nice to get push because it makes the game a little bit faster. We're not going to get it, but we're going to get time freeze, which is going to help our in-game timer. So the thing with push is if you hit the bumper or one of these bumpers at a certain point or a certain collision, you're actually going to go off the map. And if you go off the map on the right side, you can just keep on spamming left and right of side of the screen to aim the ball without using the flippers. Pretty much, that's what push is. You move the ball without the flippers, and it essentially there are no obstacles on the right side with any collision, so you can just sort of speed through the entire area. And it saves about 30 seconds. Here, it would skip a ton of time dots and Laser Racer 2, which is the minigame I'm playing right now. So it wouldn't really be beneficial, especially for a safe no reset. So we're not going to be doing it here. A little bit tough RNG there. If you get 2 doubles in a row, opposite sides, you're just not really going to be getting through unless you tap super quickly. Okay, so I'm hoping I can have at least 1 flip remaining while I get to the end here. I'm actually going to skip some of the time dots just to make sure I do have that. So we're going to get that one, and then we're going to fall back to get the other 25 time dots. And that is a little exploit that's very, very useful, especially for gaining as much bonus time as you want. Here, of course, because we have time freeze, we are not losing any in-game time. So this is even more beneficial than usual. Oh, that's a shame. I just did the skip again, so we're just going to have to fall back again. But the good thing is, we're only losing RTA time to that. We're not losing any in-game time. Not doing great, but thankfully I don't have anything to do this weekend outside of Splatfest. Oh, well, I hope that's a good distraction for you, at least. You'll definitely enjoy the Splatfest. It's definitely a chill time. I'm going to be doing some Splatfest tomorrow as well. So this is something beneath. It introduces the cannons to the game, and the cannons are going to give you 2 paths, left or right, pretty much. There are usually certain paths that we want to take over the other one, just because it's more beneficial, really. Oh, this is not nice. The game's just not being nice to me. This is kind of even worse than the last run. But that's okay. Yeah, time doubler is very good though, because we are going to be getting 2 time dots instead of 1 from these. You don't actually get doubled time from mini games, but if you do somehow get to the end of an area where it's got that massive 25 time dots in a row for the checkpoint, it will double those. And if you get time doubler in a later area, there is actually a ramp that has 35 time dots instead of 25. So you can actually get 70 seconds from that. Really bad at Space Rocks today, actually. That is 3 times I've played Space Rocks, and none of them have been good. But Space Rocks is a slow minigame anyway, so it's absolutely fine. But as you'll see, it didn't double my bonus time from that. Really, really hard to make that from the left flipper, but glad I got that because that is a little faster, and we do get some bonus time. Gonna just go forward. I am not gonna go back and grab that power up because I usually take quite a while to get there, and sometimes it's not even worth grabbing. This is the secret minigame. This only appears once in the game. But basically, each lap you do, this is actually an Easter egg, sort of a reference to their other game, or one of their other games. That's a shame. It's called Commuter World, but basically every car, every ghost car is your previous laps. And I believe it lets you do 7 or 8, and then, okay, that's fine. We're just going to skip straight through. That doesn't happen very often. Yeah. So, gonna still fall back, though, just so we can get the other 25 time dots. But what actually happens on the minigame if you go the full length, because there is actually a point where the minigame stops and just gives you your bonus time. What happens is those extra circles that said 5, they would give you an extra 5 score for every one you hit. So you can actually get about 30 to 40 seconds on that minigame if you don't mess it up on the second lap. But it is a pretty good minigame, pretty nice. It's not really very optimal for time, in terms of in-game time, or even how much time it takes you to get that time. But it is still nice to show it off. So we're going to get the final minigame, Ascender. And each dot you collect, you're going to get an extra point. And the game gets quite fast after a while. We're going to get 15, though. So, getting quite a lot of time dots out of that section. We are going to run out of push, unfortunately. And there is a little skip we can do here in any percent. I can technically do it in this run, but it would skip all of that time bonus. Essentially, you skip the cannon with push, and you can go through the flippers to get to this area, and it only saves a couple of seconds, so it's not really worth doing in this situation. But in any percent, it's a really, really cool trick to show off. Oh, the cycle's a bit frustrating there. Whoa, that is not what's supposed to happen. Sometimes that does happen, but yeah. The objects in this area can just be weird sometimes, and that was some of the weirdness. Good thing is we did have time freeze for it. Oh, my goodness, the whole of time freeze was wasted. That's fine. So we do have a lot of in-game time right now, so this is going to be a very nice no reset. And really, for the GDQ run, if it does get in here, I would like about 600 seconds on the timer, if not more. Because in overtime, of course, not being able to play the minigame, I'm going to go back, actually, to get that other minigame. Because that is Laser Racer, and Laser Racer is quick for the bonus time. So I want that. Okay, I want to make it on this cycle. Yeah, we got it. So this is the final appearance of Laser Racer. I do want to get a 50 plus this time. Oh, 62. I actually was coming up to some good RNG there, so really I could have got more. But 62 is perfectly acceptable. So here we're actually on so much bonus time, I think I'm just going to skip through. We're going to take some of these longer ramps, and the longer ramps are much faster and more efficient to take in any percent. But here we're just going to take them all anyway. It skips a really big chunk of the area as well, so I'm saving a lot of time here just purely from not doing those extra sets of flippers. So coming up to here, we're going to introduce red gates. So these are eventually going to spawn in red balls, and what red balls will do is collide with your ball, as they literally did just there, explaining before I even needed to say any words. But they can really throw off your cycles and really just not be nice to deal with in a speedrun, so we want to just get past them where possible. Come on, give me a good Space Rocks, please. I've been playing super bad at this today. Not a great start, not having any bullets on the right going through. But you pretty much would just want to push it to its absolute limit until you want to turn around, because turning around is super slow. and you're probably going to concede a couple of bullets just to the turning round part, so you need to have those extra ones ongoing on the other side, otherwise you're just going to lose. There we go, we are still going. And we've gone, but 40 is quite good for that minigame. Although it does mean we're actually going to be ironically losing time on the RTA timer from playing well there, just purely from the game being super slow. I think we are going to finish this with over 600 seconds though, so we're just going to go through. So here, the respawn point is really harsh. It will always respawn you to there, so even if you fall off the map at the top of this area, you're going to respawn back at this section. And these collisions are not nice sometimes, so it can be quite tough to deal with coming up to the end. And we're going to get this left one first, because we're going to fall back here to grab the extra 25 seconds. And what we can do is we can just grab... hopefully, if the game is nice to us. Oh, there's a Red Bull. Go away. Oh, no. Red Bull interfered with us. That's a shame. And you fall all the way back because the game's so nice like that. Yeah, so we're actually losing all the all the time that we're going to gain IGT from doing this. But what I was going to say is normally you would fall back just to there, so you would just be able to get that flipper, or just use that flipper and then instantly get the other 25 seconds pretty much, rather than needing to go back an extra area. But apparently I just went back like 4 areas instead because the game wasn't nice and I didn't back it up well. So this is the final area, Analog Apotheosis. Just going to be collecting some more bonus time here. It doesn't really take much more time RTA to be grabbing these extra time, so we're definitely going to be doing it here. That's a shame. Quite hard to make that that ramp from the left flipper, but that's okay. We're gonna just go back through. There you go. We got it. Yeah. So I'm gonna take the right side, or I'm not. Okay. Sure. So Red Bulls are really hard to deal with in this area. They're probably on the worst cycles in this area than any other. Oh, the gates. The gates are in my way. Okay. We're coming up to the end. We're still on quite a lot of time. But I'm going to play this last mini game. Kind of couldn't really do much about that. That's a shame. Okay. That's alright. So we're going to be finishing up on about 600 seconds here. Or much more than that, actually. And that is time saving overtime. But it will probably not stay because my overtime 2 was very good in the last run. So this is the end of the run, and Race to Overtime 2, or Race to Overtime, is essentially any percent. It's one lap of the game. The game would be over. The run would be over. But here we are doing another lap, so we can get to 16,000 score. And essentially the game, or the timing, ends on the final cannon, as we just saw in the first lap in Analog Apotheosis. So the only major difference, really, is that there are no power-ups. And while that doesn't really make a difference... Nice glitch there. While that doesn't really make a difference on most areas, because they just impact your timer and that's it, it is going to make a difference for us in Granular Rainstorm 2, because we're not going to be able to have push. And push is very useful in assisting you with the massive gaps that there are in the area, the massive fallbacks. If you miss a flipper for whatever reason, or even if the game isn't nice to you with collisions or whatever, and you miss a ton of flippers from that, you can fall back halfway through the map and lose a ton of time. And not only that, but in the overtime lap, not being able to get any extra in-game time, you could even game over. So it is a very, very tough area to get used to. Really, the best way to practice it is just to do regular granular rainstorm and just collect a different power-up instead of push. So if you get something like time doubler, then that won't affect the ball at all. And then you're essentially playing it as in granular rainstorm with no push, which is very hard. Gaining time here, though, which is very nice. Could even get a sub 24 with this. Now, this is making me think of lowering my estimate, but I don't know. I might lower it to 35. But I do want to get super safe at getting 10 minutes. I don't want to just set it at 35 thinking that I definitely can get that. I think I can edit my timer or my submission. I believe I can. Because submissions are closed, but I think I can edit it. I think that would be beneficial if I edited it, actually. I've got my any percent time set at 13 minutes. So we're essentially tripling the length of the run in the estimate. I do feel like I can play better than that. And my race to overtime 1, or any percent prediction being 13 minutes, or estimate being 13 minutes, is really, really hard on myself, because I feel like the amount of in-game time I'm gonna get is not even gonna be, is not even gonna make it a problem. Like I'll either get underestimate or I'll game over. And the problem is, I would play safer in that run, but I don't really want to. Just because I want to show off the 2 big skips, if any percent gets in. I want to show off Granular Rainstorm Cannon Skip, which is obviously a guarantee that I can do that, or I will have an attempt at that. And 0.100, of course, is only a 1 in 5 chance. So the chances are we don't even get to pull that one off. So we are going to get more bonus time in that area, just from not doing the skip. What I might do as well, I could even make like a bid war. I could put in a bid war for like one minigame people want to see. Although not knowing anything about the minigames is probably not going to make a great bid war. I don't know. Possibly. Possibly worth thinking about. So if you go into that hidden area, it just uncovers nothing and you just get hit on the bumper, back out again. Not really worth going in there. Okay, this is probably not happening now, because I know these last sections were really good. They were basically all golds. Come on. Come on! Thank you. This is not even after the push segment yet. Alright, so this section here is probably what I would call the least intuitive part of push. We did of Granular Rainstorm without push. We did get through it though, unless we fall back, of course, which can technically happen. So I'm not gonna rule anything out yet. Oh, yeah, we made it. Cool. And really, at the bumper section here, we just want to hope to get out fairly quickly, and we do. Losing a little bit of time, but that was to be expected. So I believe we have a little bit to save here. That was not ideal. That was not worth doing. Okay, we did get the ramp though, so that's good. Hoping to make this cycle. There we go. Much easier from the left flipper there. Normally you're going from the other side and hitting that from the right flipper and still getting that right side. Right side from right flipper and left side from left flipper is generally harder, depending on the area. Here we go. Yeah, this is the one we're supposed to do from the right side, and that is much harder than just going the other way, or catching the ball and going the other way. So we can go this way. This would have been the bonus time dots route. Unfortunately, now there's no there's no benefit to going that way. We might as well just take the long ramps. We're going to lose a lot of time here, unfortunately. And finishing up that area with about 20 seconds. No, 16 and a half. Never mind. Miscalculated. Oh, that's a shame. We're probably going to fall back from that. Oh, no. We weren't fast enough to fall back. Okay. Just be nice to me here, please. Gonna take this ramp or not. Okay, we're gonna spawn on the right side though, which is easier to hit. We should be very safe to finish the run though. Nice. Oh, little bit of a quick timing there. Really quick on that timing actually. Yeah, so PB isn't going to happen, but this is another really solid run and a no reset. And the fact that this had 600 seconds is really, really good. This had 600 seconds. But the way this has gone in overtime, I really need to be getting more than 600. I need to be playing every minigame and I need to be playing them well. I need to play as if it's race to overtime 3, basically. Is the benchmark. Imagine submitting race to overtime 3. Like, I've never even beat race to overtime 3. Like, that is just never gonna happen. Not as a marathon submission. I do want to do it one day, and one day I will beat it. One day I will beat race to overtime 3. I will get 24k score. And it has been done before, but even the current world record holder, the only person on YouTube with any evidence of doing it, even they only had about 30 seconds left over going into the 4th lap. So it's very, very hard. And at that point, you're not even doing any time management. You are simply going to get every possible part of time that you can. That is a gold, though. But another really solid run. Sub 26. So we've had a 25.02 and a 25.27. I think that's enough evidence to push my my estimate down to at least under 35 minutes, I would say. Thanks for GG Oro, appreciate that. Yeah, so we had a decent amount of bonus time left, but not really what I want. I really want more than that. So I am happy with how that went. Average of what? 25 seconds, 12 and a half. What? 25.17, give or take, is the average. So considering my goal is sub 25, that's really good. And my PB before today was not even, or really close to like 26, so yeah, super good. I think I'm gonna finish up with an any percent run, but I'm gonna upload those splits as well. Yeah, we'll finish up with a commentated any percent run as well, but I'm just going to have a drink quickly. Alright. Yeah, we'll do one run of this. I think next time what I might do to force myself to get as much practice in as possible, I'll do a race to overtime 3 attempt, because then I'll know truly what I should be getting my estimate as, or what I should be putting my estimate at, because I'm going to be playing like it's Race to Overtime 3, grabbing literally every time dot. But here we are zooming, we are doing any percent now, and it will be a potential world record attempt, but if I don't get push, I'm going to continue it. So this is an estimate of 13 minutes in the run. Extremely achievable. If I don't get sub 13, then I might as well quit. Because really sub 13, the reason I'm setting it at sub 13 and not something like the reason why I'm setting it at 13 minutes rather than something like, I don't know, 11 minutes. 11 minutes will be more realistic. Is if I do game over, it gives me enough time to then go to the checkpoint I need and then just continue from there and explain what's the implications of that, which is pretty much just, oh, I've got hundreds of seconds on my timer now, which I wouldn't ordinarily have. But let's just do an any percent run and see how it goes. So, this is PinOut. It's a vertical scrolling pinball game. The big factor in this run, or the big thing that differentiates this from any other video game, a pinball video game out there, is the line markings on the floor. And they look pretty insignificant, but they are integral to this game and the strats you can pull off, because they will slow the ball down to a much more manageable speed. So by going up to these, even just there, as you can see, going up to that with not much speed, but it's slowing it a fraction to the same or similar speed than normal. So here we're just going to lose the mini game. This is one of the only mini games that you basically have to play. If you get a really lucky collision, you might be able to skip the mini game. Currently, it's not been proven, but people have got very close before, so it's believed you can skip that. And it would be a big time save if you could. But what we're also doing here is we are collecting a lot of time dots. And these time dots are extending the amount of time on our in-game timer. If the in-game timer reaches 0, we are going to game over, and that sounds pretty bad. It is pretty bad, but what we can do in an emergency is we can just go to the checkpoint that we're on. So, say I gamed over on the final one, we can just skip to the final checkpoint and then close out the run. Of course, that wouldn't be allowed normally, but here this is a marathon. We want to show off the full game anyway. But after the, of course, this looks a lot like a vertical or a endless runner, really, which it is. But that's mainly indicated by the score. And once the game finishes at a point, which is 8,000 score, the game actually wraps around again. And score runs are quite interesting as well, because you're pretty much playing the same game again, but with no power-ups. Here I'm going to hope to get push, because it's going to mean we can do a big skip. We're not going to get it. We're unfortunately going to get time doubler. But what I would have done if I did get push is I would have tried to hit a bumper. These things you're seeing next to the sets of flippers. If I hit a bumper at a certain collision or a certain point, what is going to happen is I'm going to launch off of the floor and onto the darker sections on the side. They're what I would call out of bounds, because you're not supposed to get there. But what happens there is, in this area specifically, there's no collision on any obstacles on that out of bounds section. So what you can do, once you get out of bounds, you can pretty much just mash left and right and move with push, because push lets you not use the flippers for its duration. You actually just keep zooming through pretty much at really, really high speeds. And not only that, you will skip all of the ramps and everything in 0.100, that orange area, which saves about 30 seconds. But what it would also do is it would skip a ton of bonus time dots, which is, of course, not ideal for a speedrun that is trying to be a no reset speedrun, because if we play poorly at all, then we could end up gaming over. So it's kind of a good thing that we didn't get it. So coming up to here, we are seeing cannons now, and they give you two different paths, left or right, and there's normally an optimal one you want to take. Sometimes it comes down to preference. But, for example, on this one, we are going to want to take the left side, because left side is going to skip this extra flipper. And nice little left side with the left flipper. Left side with left flipper and right side with right flipper are generally the harder ones to make. Generally tighter windows of being able to get through on that hit of the flipper. So this is Granular Rainstorm. This is the only area where we are guaranteed to get push on a single power-up orb. And you'll see how much it breaks the game when we pull off probably the biggest skip, or I would say easiest skip to pull off in the game, and it's cannon skip. So there is a risk of the game crashing at this point, but again, if it does crash, then we can technically just go to the checkpoint for this area, and it would only cost us about 30 seconds really. So the estimate does allow for us to be able to do that. But by using push, we can zoom through here. Push does not have a very long duration, but whenever you are aiming with push, you actually are not using the power up at all. Now, I unfortunately did get in the cannon section, so this is going to be quite tight to make now. Yes, we did get it though. Nice. Unfortunately, because we didn't have much of it left over, because we went into that cannon area, we don't have have much of it carried over to the next section. But basically, push actually, or any power up, carries over between areas, and because cannon skip skips you from doing that cannon section, or cannon into the bumper section, and then doing the regular ramp to get through that checkpoint, it does skip. It skips a lot of time dots, so it is quite risky to go for. That's the main risk of going for it. But it is also pretty good to go for real time. It only saves a few seconds real time, but it is still worth going for. Of course, it does save more time if we get to carry it over to the next area. So if we were able to do it optimally, really, we would have had the power up for the first few sets of flippers at least in this area, and that's on a good day, really, if you're doing that skip. So coming on to the second to last area now, we are seeing a lot more of these red gates. They're spawning in red balls that do collide with the ball and sometimes make for really, really tough, sometimes a bit frustrating cycles, because it does mess up the cycles a little bit. And if the ball does collide strangely, which it sometimes will, then you could even end up falling back some areas. And in Analog Apotheosis, you could end up falling back before the checkpoint if you get super unlucky. We're coming up to the end here and of this area, and in this area it's quite open, and if you fall off, you are going to end up respawning a few sets of flippers away. So it's good that we got through there really quickly, and that's a gold on Telegraphic Distortion. We almost fell back. Luckily, just hitting those flippers last moment there did save us. Nice little backup. So these are the gates that only appear in Analog Apotheosis. And coming up to the end here, we are going to, unfortunately hit the gate there. Not a great cycle. Oh, that's a shame. Left side cannon is quite tough to make. We'll get it with the right flipper though. So we're just going to make our way through here, and timing ends on the final hit of the cannon, the big cannon at the end of this, where we are going to have a massive section where we get launched into overtime. And here we go. Oh, we fell off. That's a shame. Go this way, and timing ends there. It is an 850. That's actually really good to not get 0.100 skip and to get a bad granular rainstorm. I'll really take that. And you know what? That telegraphic is super cool. Saving about... I don't know exactly how much I'm saving on my gold there. How much am I saving? 105.19. Is that my gold? If I reset the run, how much is it now? 104.84. So shaved 0.35 seconds off of that gold. That's quite nice. Don't often get a gold that late into the run, not really. So that's making my summer best 632 now. That's pretty much it. I'm going to call it there. That was a really nice no reset of any percent. I'm probably going to do this a lot more often. I'm just going to do a couple of runs of race to overtime 2 and then an any percent, or I'll do a few runs of any percent and one race to overtime 2, something like that. Just to sort of get my practice in for both of those. And even if this doesn't get into GDQ, I do want to submit this to other speedrun marathons because this game does really deserve to be shown off a lot more. And the fact that it's so accessible, it's as accessible as the likes of, you know, Refunked. Of course, Refunked is a much nicer speedrun, and it does have an in-game timer and stuff like that. So in terms of how useful it is for speedrunning, Refunked and other games like that are much better. But this is a short run in comparison. It's also really, really nice, and you know, you can play super safe when you start out. You can collect a ton of time dots and get yourself used to the collisions, but once you start to get going with the game, it gets really, really fun. And once you're able to get constant no reset any percent runs, it's really, really nice. But that's pretty much it. I'm gonna call it there. Thanks so much everyone for watching. I don't know when exactly the games are announced at GDQ. Hold on, I'll get my tab up. Let's see. I think there's a timeline. Yeah, so the second submission period is in November. Then there is, yeah, the games list is in October. October 22nd is when the games list is announced, and the schedule's November the 5th. So, yeah, little while to wait for that. Only about a month, so that will go very quickly. But whether it gets in or not, I will be okay with the result, really, because there is, as I mentioned earlier, more runs than... I don't know if it's a record, but there are like 2,000 submitted this year. So it is pretty much going to mean there's going to be more rejected than ever, because of course it doesn't mean there's going to be more accepted. The marathon isn't extended. So yeah, we'll see. But I would really be happy if either of these categories got in, but I would love to see Race to Overtime 2 get in, because that means more time. Let's see who's live to raid. Although I might just head off, because I'm still not sure who I want to raid going into PinOut runs and stuff. I think I am going to raid... let's raid Professor. I haven't raided Professor in a while. They're doing Island Flyover Wii Sports Resort speedruns. We'll go and say hi. And that's pretty much it. So tomorrow, hopefully I'll be live with a Splatoon speedrun, that's going to be no major exploits because I haven't learned how to do the frame perfect pausing trick yet. You also need to do it 20 times. You can do it not consecutively. Of course, it will be beneficial to do it consecutively. But it's a really, really hard trick. And I am just going to ignore that it exists because it makes the run terrible. I might do a run of any percent where you're able to do... or any percent no pause exploit. Or no pause exploit, something like that. Where you're allowed to do world map skips. That one's kind of cool. But I need to learn all of the map skips, or at least a lot of them, before I do that. Because there's even more being found basically every day now. Like, there's so much going on in that speedrun. But there's not really much going on with any percent no major exploits. So I will be giving that a go. But thanks everyone for watching. As I say, we'll go and raid Professor. Professor CC19. And yeah, be back tomorrow, Saturday, doing an any percent Splatoon speedrun. It will be about 2 to 2.5 hours. So if you do want to dip out for spoilers, I will probably be here about 6 PM or 5:30 PM to 6 PM BST doing Splatfest stuff. So that's going to be going on. And yeah, I mean, unless I end up starting the stream late for whatever reason, I'm still not too sure yet. But hopefully I'll be starting at 3 PM. And then schedule goes up in the Discord on Sunday. So you can see what's going on there. Also, next Friday we are going to be drawing the raffle, which is still happening. I've debated whether to keep that a thing or not. And yeah, I feel like it still meets Twitch's guidelines right now. So who knows in the future, but we are going to draw this one at least. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.